Tonight, I want to tell you the story of an empty stocking. Once upon a midnight clear, there was a child's cry. A blazing star hung over a stable, and wise men came with birthday gifts. We haven't forgotten that night down through the centuries. We celebrated with stars on Christmas trees, with the sound of bells, and with gifts, especially gifts. You give me a book, I give you a tie. Aunt Martha has always wanted an orange squeezer, and Uncle Henry could do with a new pipe. Oh, we forget nobody, adult or child. All the stockings are filled. All that is, except one. And we have even forgotten to hang it up. The stocking for the child born in a manger. It's his birthday we're celebrating. Don't let us ever forget that. Let us ask ourselves what he would wish for most, and then let each put in his share. Glowing kindness, warm hearts, and a stretched out hand of tolerance. All the shining gifts that make peace on earth. Welcome once again, everybody, to Counselor's Couch 101. I'm Jim Stump. You probably know that. I told you that I didn't want to put a lot of gloom and doom up on these posts during the holiday season. I want to put more positive messages. So I'm wondering if any of you recognize where that little bit comes from. And I'll tell you at the end, but I'll let you think on it if it strikes a chord in your memory and you haven't quite identified where it's from. Folks, I don't try to push any sort of religious philosophy or any sort of way of thinking or being in the world, but I do think we all share a common humanity. And I think that is the thing that we can all reach to and agree upon when it comes to how we should be behaving toward each other. At least I hope so. Oftentimes I work with people, they come in, maybe they're not the most pleasant of person, maybe they're having difficulties, maybe they're gruff and unkind. And when they work through their issues and they find their core, they find that there is this sort of a loving person deep down inside, right? It's there. I think it's just the nature of being human. At least I hope so. At times we forget it. I suppose that's why we go to services every 7 days, just to be reminded to keep ourselves behaving in the way that we really should be behaving. And again, I'm not pushing any philosophy. I'm not prescribing any way to be in the world except to be human. Find your core. Let us all find our core. Let us all find that part of us that wants to help others, that wants to feel good about being in the world because of the way we are in the world, right? And to find that kind of peace within ourselves brings a joy. People become happier when they figure out how to be of service to others, how to be friendly, how to give of themselves. Not too much, but enough that there's a positive return on it. A man said to me recently, and I already knew it, but he said, it all comes back to you. It really does. It all comes back to you. What we give out in the world seems to come back to us. If we put out negativity, we get negativity back. If we put out hearts of loving kindness, we tend to get that back as well. I think it was Abraham Lincoln who said, most people are about as happy as they decide to be. About as happy as they decide to be, right? In an earlier dark period of my life, I decided there was no such thing as happiness. So I would just have to be happy without it. And you know the funny thing? It worked. You know, if you can be happy without it and put that out in the world, behave that way, act that way, it becomes the real way you are in the world. It becomes the real you. And when you get back the positive results from being a happy person who's willing to give and help other people, when you put that out, it comes back. And it comes back tenfold. So these days, I think it's that time of year. I think traditionally, going back hundreds and hundreds of years, this was a time of year when people would have finished the harvest. It was the time for going inside and recouping. It's like a bear hibernating for the woods, for the winter. People reseed. They recharge their batteries. They re-energize themselves, and they look back on what has happened, and they look forward to the types of things they would like to see in the world in the coming year, and like that. And I keep thinking, why don't we think about the positive things we want in the world and in our lives? A lot of people complain about all the things that are going wrong for them, the things they don't have, or the places or the relationships, etc., that do not have a presence in their lives. And I keep saying, well, let's look at it more positively. Let's look at the things that we do have in our lives. Let's build on that. If we have a gratitude list, if we've got good friends, if we've got a roof over our heads, if we've got food, shelter, and clothing, right? That's something to be grateful for, because quite frankly, there are millions of people in the world today who do not have these things. I'm sure you see it on the news, or at least you should be hearing about it. I'm ever so grateful to have been born in this country with the benefits that it provides. And I know that there are a lot of people across the planet who do not have those benefits. And every time I'm reminded of it, I'm grateful all over again. And that makes me want to do something nice for somebody else. Makes me want to help out as much as I can, because we do have so much here. So I'm recommending we not look on the negative side of things. Let's look on the positive side of things. Let's be grateful for what is and what works and what makes us feel better. And if we have some abundance and something left over, some discretionary income, so to speak, whether it be energy or time or skill or effort, we can share that. And the benefit is just amazing. It can fill your heart with the love that you're feeling that's being returned to you. And you've heard of random acts of kindness and doing things and not letting people know you did it. All that stuff really works. And I keep trying to remind people, let's carry it past the holiday season, right? A friend of mine says we all know this stuff. It's just that we need to be reminded to do it. I like to remind people throughout the year to look at positive things and to do positive things, put positive messages and experiences and goodwill out into the world. I like to remind them during the year. I like to carry the holiday spirit through the entire year. And I've been known to watch Christmas movies in July. Some people think that's insane, but I think it's a really wise thing to do. Keep our eyes on what we really want to be like in the world and what we would like to see transpire in the world as in relations with other people. My favorite American philosopher said, "Can't we all just get along?" It's the only bit of philosophy he ever uttered, and yet I really believe in it, and I keep seeking that. Can't we all just get along? I keep thinking that folks are beginning to understand one another and to come together in a better way. And yet I have people tell me that it's not true, that the opposite is true. I say, well, if I focus on the opposite, I focus on the negativity and the ways people do not get along, I would probably bring more of that into the world. And that's not what I'm going for. So I'm going to focus on all of us getting along and reminding each other how to behave in the world throughout the entire year, right? Remind each other of the benefits of sharing and being generous. Reminding people how much good it does us. Now, that may sound selfish. As far as I'm concerned, that's okay. If you're doing good stuff and you feel wonderful about it, I don't think there's anything wrong with that type of behavior. Anyway, I wanted to start out the month with a more positive message. I'm wondering if any of you recognize that little bit that I read at the beginning. Last chance before I reveal it all. Actually, I copied that out years ago. It's from a movie called The Bishop's Wife. This is the 1947 version of the movie. Was starring Cary Grant, Loretta Young, and David Niven. That version. I know there have been versions of the Bishop's Wife after that, but this is the one that I watch every year, and this is where I took the little speech from. It means a lot to me, and I try to keep it in my heart all year round. Let's put in what we can to make the world a better place. That's pretty much what the message is. We don't have to give that which we do not have, but we all have something that we can put in to make relationships better and folks happier to be in the world, in the communities in which we all live together. So that's my thought right now. I'm going to try to come up with some other more positive messages in the next few weeks leading up to Christmas and New Year's. So I wish you all happy holidays. I hope you get out there and start enjoying it, start spreading the cheer and the love right now, and carry it all the way through the month. And I'm glad that you stopped by. I appreciate it. If you'd like to send me an email, it's counselorscouch101@mail.com. Any suggestions for ideas that we can put into the post of a positive nature going up to the holidays would be appreciated. In the meantime, I want to thank you all for stopping by. Please live with love in your heart 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and like that for the rest of your life. Live that way. Thanks for stopping by, and I look forward to talking with you next time. Be well.